Your glamorous lifestyle is actually a financial suicide note. You are unknowingly feeding a trillion-dollar machine meticulously engineered to enslave you. Watch until the end, because the brutal math I am about to expose is your only chance to escape this invisible prison alive. Close-up shot, dead silence, staring directly into the lens. I spent 2 agonizing hours scrolling through TikTok this morning, and if I am being completely honest with you, a cold, terrifying shiver is still running down my spine. It was not the mindless dancing or the harmless internet challenges that left me paralyzed. This dread came from a deeply toxic, insidious new virus spreading through our generation like wildfire. They are calling it the romanticization of bankruptcy. I watched countless young men and women, draped in sparkling designer clothes, recording short aesthetic clips with radiant smiles and a caption that makes my blood run cold. When my credit card is completely maxed out, but I decided to go get afternoon tea at a 5-star hotel anyway, because I will never be able to afford a house in this economy. You call it healing. You call it living in the present moment. But as someone who has walked this road, an older brother who has watched the jagged jaws of financial traps crush the lives of so many good people, I call it exactly what it is: financial suicide. We are witnessing the absolute normalization of a garbage ideology, a delusional commitment to living light years beyond your means. Today, we are going to strip away the glittery mask of modern debt culture and stare directly into the ugly, terrifying truth. If this harsh reality resonates with you, or if you simply want to arm yourself against a system designed to keep you broke, I need you to hit that subscribe button right now. Your support is the raw fuel that gives this channel the motivation to keep uncovering these uncomfortable, life-saving truths in future videos. Credit Card Payoff Plan US welcomes you to the awakening. Let us begin by dissecting a case study I stumbled upon just yesterday, one that perfectly encapsulates this mass delusion. A young couple sat in front of their camera, beaming with misplaced confidence, sharing that their combined income was exactly $20 an hour. Yet, with a straight face, they announced their ultimate goal: purchasing a $900,000 home within the next 2 years. Their entire strategy relied on the assertion that the law of attraction would somehow manifest this mansion into their lives, simply because they believed it fiercely enough. Listen to me very carefully. The law of attraction is a beautiful psychological tool for maintaining an optimistic spirit, but the universe does not underwrite mortgage loans, and the law of attraction will never pay your monthly interest to the bank. It is time we stop hallucinating and return to the brutal, unforgiving realm of basic math. Let us play with the spreadsheet they so conveniently ignored. 2 people, making a combined $20 an hour. Assuming they work a grueling 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year without a single day off, their gross annual income sits at $41,600. Remember, that is before the government takes its slice. After federal taxes, state taxes, and Social Security are stripped away, the actual take-home pay, the money that keeps the lights on, is floating somewhere between $33,000 to $35,000 a year. That leaves them with less than $3,000 a month to survive. Now, shift your gaze to that majestic $900,000 dream home. Let us pretend, by some divine miracle, they managed to scrape together a 20% down payment, an impossible $180,000 on their salary, but let us humor the delusion. They would still need to borrow $720,000. In our current economic climate, with interest rates hovering around a merciless 7%, the principal and interest alone would incinerate nearly $4,800 every single month. I have not even factored in property taxes, homeowners insurance, inevitable maintenance, or HOA fees. The true cost of breathing inside that house would never drop below $6,000 a month. You have less than $3,000 in your pocket. Your house demands $6,000 to keep you off the street. You do not need to be a Wall Street financial prodigy to solve this equation. You only need a functioning brain to recognize the absolute, terrifying absurdity of it. Yet, when a rational soul pointed out this mathematical suicide in the comment section, they were immediately crucified. The digital mob descended with pitchforks, screaming that the commenter was shaming the poor, that they were viciously crushing innocent dreams. No, my friends, I am not shaming poverty. I am aggressively shaming financial illiteracy. In the cold, calculating world of finance, there is a fundamental law known as the debt-to-income ratio, or DTI. Lenders do not care about your vision boards. They do not care about your dreams. They only care about your DTI. A healthy financial life dictates that your DTI should never exceed 36%, and your housing costs must never swallow more than 28% of your gross income. When you arrogantly ignore your DTI in the name of manifesting, you are meticulously laying the bricks of your own prison. The illusion of owning real estate that severely exceeds your grasp does not elevate your status. It merely transforms you into a lifelong, exhausted slave to the banking system, grinding your bones to dust day and night just to pay interest on bricks you will never truly own. That grim reality of grinding your life away for an illusion of ownership extends far beyond the housing market. It has entirely poisoned the way we consume every single aspect of our daily lives. We are living in an era defined by the desperate need to perform a life of luxury for an audience of strangers who genuinely do not care about us. Walk into any trendy brunch spot in a major city, and you will see a sea of designer handbags, $1,000 smartphones, and luxury watches, all paraded by people who are secretly suffocating under the weight of their own monthly statements. There is a deep, psychological rot at the core of this behavior, a relentless insecurity that tells us we are fundamentally inadequate unless we are draped in the cultural markers of wealth. We have been brainwashed to believe that frugality is a sign of failure, while conspicuous consumption is the ultimate proof of success. But I want you to look closer at that meticulously curated lifestyle. It is entirely rented. It is a fragile house of cards held together by introductory APR offers and buy now, pay later schemes. I remember sitting with a friend a few years ago. A brilliant, creative guy who was making a very modest salary but driving a leased European sports car that cost him nearly a third of his take-home pay. When I finally asked him why he was doing this to himself, his answer broke my heart. He looked at the floor and whispered, "Because when I am at the red light, for just 30 seconds, the person in the car next to me thinks I have made it." That is the tragedy of modern debt. We are literally mortgaging our futures, sacrificing our peace of mind, and trading our freedom for a 30-second hit of superficial validation. We are using money we have not even earned yet to buy things we do not actually need, just to project an image of prosperity that does not exist. The emotional toll this takes is staggering. You cannot sleep soundly when you know that a single missed paycheck, one unexpected medical bill, or a sudden layoff will cause your entire fake empire to crumble into dust. The anxiety hums in the background of your life like a faulty refrigerator, draining your energy, ruining your relationships, and severely compromising your physical health. You are walking around in a self-imposed straitjacket, smiling for the camera while internally screaming for a way out. And yet, the culture tells you to keep swiping, to treat yourself, because you deserve it. But let me ask you this. Do you really believe you deserve a lifetime of crushing anxiety just to own a piece of leather with a fancy logo? The truth is, the moment you purchase that status symbol on credit, you do not own it. It owns you. When the momentary dopamine rush of that purchase status symbol inevitably evaporates, you are left alone in the cold, silent dark with the true architect of your misery, the plastic card sitting in your wallet. It is genuinely horrifying how sanitized our language around debt has become. We casually talk about carrying a balance or building credit, framing these actions as responsible, mature adult behaviors. But let us strip away the polite banking jargon and look at the brutal mechanics of what a credit card actually is. It is not an extension of your income. It is a highly aggressive, incredibly expensive short-term loan, armed with an interest rate so predatory that in any other century, the people offering it would have been thrown in a local jail for usury. I want to talk about the compound interest guillotine, because this is where the financial slaughter truly happens. Let us say you max out a credit card with $10,000 of debt. You are young, you are living for the aesthetic, and you tell yourself you will pay it off when you get that big promotion. So you just pay the minimum, usually around 2 or 3% of the balance, maybe $200 a month. It feels manageable, right? It feels like you are staying afloat. But with an average annual percentage rate sitting at 24%, nearly all of that minimum payment is instantly swallowed by the interest. It is a tax on your ignorance. If you only make the minimum payment, it will take you close to 30 years to clear that $10,000. And in the process, you will have paid the bank over $20,000 just in interest. You paid $30,000 for $10,000 worth of clothes, dinners, and vacations that you cannot even remember. You literally robbed your future self, the older, tired version of you who just wants to rest, to fund a fleeting weekend of fun for the current you. I have looked into the eyes of people who woke up in their mid-40s, realizing they are still paying off a vacation they took to Miami when they were 23. The despair is palpable. The interest does not sleep. It does not take weekends off. It does not care if you get sick, if you lose your job, or if your heart is broken. It is a relentless, unfeeling mathematical engine designed to systematically siphon the wealth of your labor directly into the pockets of shareholders. Every time you swipe that card without having the cash in your checking account to pay it off completely by 5 p.m. that same day, you are willingly placing your neck squarely under that blade. The most terrifying realization about this unending cycle of compound interest is understanding that absolutely none of this is an accident. You are exactly where they engineered you to be. It is incredibly easy to sit here and blame the individual, to call people lazy or stupid for falling into these traps. But that completely ignores the massive, trillion-dollar predatory machine operating behind the curtain. We have to face the uncomfortable fact that our entire global economy is heavily reliant on the financial illiteracy of the working class. If every single person woke up tomorrow, cut up their credit cards, lived well below their means, and invested the difference, the modern banking system would experience a catastrophic heart attack by noon. Think about our education system for a moment. You spent roughly 12 to 16 years in classrooms. You learned the Pythagorean theorem, you memorized the dates of ancient battles, and you analyzed the themes of classic literature. But not once, in all those thousands of hours, did anyone sit you down and explain the difference between an asset and a liability. No one taught you how to read a loan disclosure, how to file taxes, or how a Roth IRA functions. Do you genuinely believe this is an oversight? Do you think the smartest people running the curriculum just forgot to include the fundamental skills required to survive in a capitalist society? It is not an oversight. It is a feature. A financially educated population is dangerous. They demand fair wages. They do not take out predatory loans, and they cannot be easily manipulated by marketing psychology. The system needs you to be just smart enough to pull the levers and do the paperwork at your corporate job, but just ignorant enough to take your paycheck and hand it right back to the banks through car loans, mortgages, and credit card debt. They invented the FICO credit score in 1989, and they have successfully convinced an entire generation that this arbitrary number is a measure of your worth as a human being. A credit score does not measure your wealth. It does not measure your financial stability. It simply measures how profitable you are as a debtor. It is an I love debt score. The banks study our psychology. They hire the best behavioral scientists on the planet, and they design an ecosystem where taking on debt feels as frictionless and natural as taking a breath of air, while saving money feels like an agonizing sacrifice. You are playing a rigged game in a casino where the house has stacked every single deck against you. Once you finally see the invisible bars of this financial prison, the only moral imperative left is to orchestrate your immediate and unapologetic escape. I did not make this video to leave you feeling hopeless in the face of a rigged system. I made this because the truth, no matter how brutal, is the only weapon that can set you free. The time for living in a state of glamorous delusion is over. It is time to stage a quiet, relentless rebellion against the culture of debt, and that rebellion begins the moment you decide to reclaim your financial sovereignty. We need to completely redefine what wealth actually looks like. Real wealth is not a loud, financed sports car parked in front of an overpriced, heavily mortgaged home. Real wealth is silent. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a fully funded emergency reserve. It is the absolute power of being able to look a toxic boss in the eye and walk away from a bad job because you do not owe a single dime to the bank. It is the quiet confidence of waking up in the morning and knowing that 100% of the money you earn that day belongs to you and not to Visa, MasterCard, or Chase. To get there, you have to embrace frugality, not as a punishment, but as the ultimate form of self-respect. Budgeting is not a restriction on your freedom. It is a battle plan for your liberation. I need you to stop caring about what the people on TikTok or the strangers at the red light think about your lifestyle. Let them laugh at your old car. Let them judge your modest apartment. Let them scroll past your lack of designer clothes. While they are drowning in a sea of minimum payments and suffocating anxiety, you will be quietly building an impenetrable fortress of real, generation-altering security. Cut up the cards. Sell the car you cannot afford. Move to a cheaper neighborhood if you have to. Take on a second job and violently attack your debt with everything you have. It will be exhausting. It will be deeply uncomfortable. And it will require a level of discipline most people are completely terrified of. But the sheer, unadulterated freedom on the other side of that mountain is worth every single drop of sweat. You have one life to live. Do not spend it as an indentured servant to a banking system that views you as nothing more than a line item on a profit and loss statement. Wake up, look the math dead in the eye, and take your power back today. If you are ready to join this fight, if you are done playing the victim and ready to build actual wealth, leave a comment below saying, "I am taking my power back," and share this video with someone who desperately needs to hear it. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and I will see you in the next one. The modern financial ecosystem is designed as an invisible trap, heavily reliant on consumer insecurity and systemic financial illiteracy. We are culturally conditioned to pursue a hollow illusion of wealth, financing lifestyles we cannot actually afford through predatory credit cards and buy now, pay later schemes just to impress people we do not even know. This creates a crippling cycle of debt where compound interest acts as a financial guillotine, quietly siphoning away our future wealth, health, and peace of mind. The banking system and corporate marketing machines intentionally exploit this psychological vulnerability, turning the working class into perpetual, highly profitable debtors. However, recognizing this rigged game is the crucial first step toward true liberation. Real wealth is not loud, flashy, or heavily financed. It is completely silent. It is grounded in the freedom and security of owing absolutely nothing to anyone. Escaping this matrix requires a radical shift in mindset. Embracing frugality not as a restriction, but as a profound act of self-respect and rebellion against a predatory system. By rejecting societal pressures to conspicuously consume, violently attacking our existing debt, and consciously living below our means, we actively reclaim our financial sovereignty. True power lies in trading the fleeting dopamine hits of rented luxury for the quiet, unshakable confidence of genuine financial independence. True wealth is not defined by the visible accumulation of material possessions, but by the invisible accumulation of freedom, peace of mind, and financial sovereignty. Every dollar borrowed to project a false image of success is a direct theft from your future self's peace and autonomy. The moment you purchase a status symbol on credit, you do not own it. The debt owns you. Stop the bleeding. Immediately stop using credit cards for purchases you cannot pay off in cash by the end of the day. Remove saved credit card information from your phone and browser, and cut up the physical cards if necessary. Redefine your worth. Consciously detach your self-esteem from cultural markers of wealth. Accept that genuine success is having zero debt and a funded savings account, not a designer bag or a leased car. Audit your reality. Face the brutal math. Sit down today, calculate exactly how much debt you have, and look at the interest rates. Create a strict, zero-based budget and treat it as a definitive battle plan for your freedom. Liquidate the illusion. Sell the items you financed but do not truly need. Whether it is a luxury vehicle, expensive electronics, or unworn designer clothes. And use that cash to aggressively attack your high-interest debt. Build the fortress. Channel the money you used to spend on impressing strangers into a fully funded emergency reserve. This ensures that when life happens, you are never forced back into the arms of predatory lenders. What is one everyday expense or luxury item you decided to cut out of your life to save money, and how did it change your financial situation? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below so we can all learn and draw inspiration from each other's perspectives. If you found value in this message, please subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to us and gives us the immense motivation to keep creating more impactful content for you.